Turn me up just a little bit. This one got to hurt. Hey, Buck, what's wrong with this nigga, man? Huh? Shorty, you still talking? Still talking? By the way, I read your article in King Magazine. I loved it.
Hey, what's happening, y'all? It's your boy B, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, I haven't posted a video in a while. It ain't been that long, but, you know, it's been long for me since, you know, I hit y'all up, like, every few days or whatever. And that's my bad, you know, because a lot of bullshit been going on, you know. A lot of shit been going on. But, yo, I got a story to tell y'all, man. And this is a good note to come back on because, you know, this is some funny shit. Alright. Now, this shit all began, like, when that shit began? Like a year ago. Like when I was in the 11th grade or whatever. It's so funny, right? Because I just sitting here thinking about this shit. You know, it's so funny that this shit happens to come up now. But anyway, alright. Now in Florida, we got this thing called the FCAT. As, you know, my Florida people know. And if you done passed that bitch already in high school, you ain't got to take it again. So basically, there's no point in coming to school because all they had us do was go and sit in your little, you know, sit in your little homeroom class or whatever until all the underclassmen got done taking the test, which would take pretty much all day. So that's just a waste of your time. So basically, what we would do is we'd show up to school and then we dip out with some friends or whatever. Alright. So me and my nigga Ish, this is back before I was whipping or whatever, before I could drive. Me and my nigga Ish was there, and we was finna catch a ride out with, you know, my homeboys, you know, my nigga Rico and all them people would be rapping, people in the other videos, but yeah, we was finna catch a ride with them, but the car was filled up, and we was like, damn. And I was like, man, I do not want to go to class. He was like, man, let's call Sam and Wednesday.
Oh no!
Sam and Wednesday is two white girls, we know. But anyway, so we called them up, and we kicking it with them, everything cool, you know, went out to breakfast, Skyway Jackson shit, went out to the mall and whatnot. And this is like way on the north side, you know, and then we go to her house. We go to Wednesday's house, which is in Seminole. And then as we leaving, for some reason, you know, this is the Sam, the one who drove, talking about something. Oh my God, I'm so tired, I don't feel like driving. Someone else needs to drive. And, you know, I'm not saying shit because I know my ass can't drive. Well, I couldn't drive back then, so I ain't gonna say shit, you know what I'm saying? And then Wednesday said she would. I forget why she didn't. And the nigga Ish said, B, I'm gonna teach you. We gonna teach you how to drive real quick. Ha ha ha, laughing and shit. I'm like, whatever, dog. I ain't feel like doing that shit. But then they sitting there calling me out, talking about, come on, just do it. It's not that big. Just do it. So I'm like, man, fine, whatever.
Oh no!
So this was my first time really behind the wheel in like a year, because back when I tried to learn how to drive, I was fucking around with my mom's and I came to the driveway fast. Even though I had control of it, she was tripping and wouldn't let me do it no more. But anyway, that was the last time I did drive before that incident. So I'm sitting up here like, okay. And then we riding around in this motherfucker in her beat up ass Mustang. The steering all fucked up. Have to turn that bitch like a fucking ship wheel, you know what I'm saying? Let me slow it down for y'all because my camera counts. We got to turn it all this like this to get to go like 1 inch into the direction you're going. So it's already a bad idea for me to be driving that shit. And plus, her brakes was fucked up. And she knew all this. And she knew I did not want to drive. But you know, them fucking, you know, I guess, hey, that's giving in the peer pressure right there, you know what I'm saying? But hey, yeah, I got behind the wheel and we was getting it. You know, it was going nice and slow, you know what I'm saying? And in the parking lot full of crowded ass cars, me and inexperienced drivers just trying to be careful and shit. Then this nigga Ish, dawg, you driving like a bitch, dawg. Go faster, dawg. Just tap the gas. So I tapped the gas. That bitch started going crazy. And I'm sitting here turning this motherfucker. And they lucky I was turning like I was, because it could have been a lot worse. Because let me tell you something. We was weaving through cars, weaving through little support beams and shit in the little garage shit. So it could have been real fucked up. And then when I finally got out of the way of all these cars, there was a curb. So the shit jumped up on the curb. And I'm like, shit, and there's a wall. So I'm turning that bitch as much as I can and mashing on the brake. That shit would not stop. And then finally we got up on the curb and that shit just stopped. And I'm like, whoo! So we get out the shit. You know, we all just happy to be alive in this motherfucking shit, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, damn, man, that's my bad or whatever. And she's like, you know what, don't even worry about it. It's not your fault. Those were her words. Don't worry about it. And then she said that, you know, I wouldn't even have to pay shit. She told me that. Everything be cool. So I'm like, alright, cool. And, you know, we like pushed this motherfucker to like a little repair place or whatever nearby. And everything great. We go back to school. Ishmael's sister gives us a ride back to school. Everything cool. Then the next day, well, actually no, it was either the next day or a couple days after, this bitch come to me like, well, Brian, I'm gonna need $600. I'm like, what the fuck? You know, at first I could see it because I was like, well, hey, whatever, you know, I guess it's kind of my fault and shit. You know, I really didn't want to tell my parents that shit. But I told them. And they were like, well, we need to get the information from our parents, like the repair shops and, you know, we want to see the estimate and all that shit, you know. So I tell her that. You need to give her the fucking number and shit, and then my dad's like, no, he can call us. So this nigga, he calling my cell phone instead of calling my parents' house. And I never got around to answering the bitch. You nigga left a message and shit, so I'm like, whatever. And then suddenly, you know, a couple weeks went by, and it went from fucking 600 to 1,000. And we like, man, fuck that. We ain't even paying for that shit, because what had happened was her car was already fucked up, right? And the thing that I did when we took it to the repairman, he said it messed up the transmission. And dude said he estimated right then and there like 400 or something like that. So 600 was like on the money. Now this bitch talking about 1,000. So we over here thinking, man, they trying to hustle us. They trying to get that shit where that we can fix up her old beat up ass car. So we like, fuck that. We ain't paying for that shit. And you know, that whole thing go by and everything. You know, I told her, you know, we ain't doing shit. And then one day me and Ish waiting to get picked up by my pops after school because we had to stay out there and handle some art shit. And this bitch getting picked up too by her dad. So I'm like, wow, this could be real funny. You know what I'm saying? And her pops come first and scoop her up. And then they just leaving out the parking lot and shit. So I'm like, wow, okay, they ain't say nothing. And then my dad come like a second later. Like as they're going out, my dad's coming in. And my dad picking us up. And then this nigga turns his truck around and comes and gets out and talks to me. This motherfucking Italian ass Tony Soprano looking motherfucker wearing a suit, wearing some glasses, driving a big ass truck. So I'm like, wow. And this dude's like, man, we need to talk, bro. Blah, blah, blah. She's your friend. Blah, 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 blah. She's your money. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, I don't have a job. I'm fucking, how old was I? I'm like fucking 16. So, I mean, yeah. If you want to talk money, my dad, like right there, like 2 feet away in the damn car. Oh, no. I don't want to talk to your father. I want to talk to you. This nigga scared of my dad or something. Like my dad gonna get out of the car and whoop his ass. You know, which he might have. Shit, if he had said the wrong shit. But anyway, you know, so this nigga sitting there, come on, what's the right thing to do? You get a job this summer, you can pay it off, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, whatever. So, the whole thing gets dropped and shit, right? And I'm just like, wow, motherfucker. And hold up, yeah, this will be part one. This will be part one, because it's getting a little too long. I hit y'all off with part 2 in a minute.
I done got in trouble again.
What the fuck? I tried, man. I'm back. Peace, talk.